Money makes the world go round, or so the saying goes. But if you're not clued up when it comes to abundance, wealth and finances, you could find yourself in a really bad position when everybody around you seems to be doing so well. If you want to find out the reasons for this and the strategies to make it different, then keep watching. When it comes to making money, sometimes what can stop us is our own limiting beliefs, the patterns that have been created in our mind. And in this video, we're going to be talking about those limiting beliefs, the impacts they have, and strategies to get out of them. Throughout our lives, we hear all sorts of different things about different things. For example, when we're eating, we hear things like you have to finish everything on your plate because there's children starving in third world countries. Now, at the time, you finish everything on your plate, but it puts patterns in your mind that you have to keep on eating, and this is no good for our diet. We hear things like money doesn't grow on trees. In other words, there's a scarcity about money, or money is the root of all evil, which puts this pattern in our mind, this belief that perhaps money is bad. We can also pick up on patterns from the behavior of our parents or our grandparents, our families and their friends and the people around us in general. So if you're in a family unit and, for example, your mother and father always struggle in business or always don't have that much money, then in your mind, perhaps you're going to have this pattern where you're not going to have much money. And there's almost like a ceiling set in your life for how far you can get. And you follow the path of your parents. And you do this subconsciously, not consciously. But these are limiting beliefs, and there's absolutely no need to have them. It's your subconscious mind picking things up from the environment around you. Due to these limiting beliefs, due to things that we hear and due to these patterns, the impact can often cause scarcity. So when we do actually have some money, we hold on to it tight. When we think about money, we worry, we get stressed, we're worried about the future, and therefore any opportunities that might arise, we might skip them or not even consider them, or not even think out of the box when it comes to getting out of a 9-to-5 job perhaps. Sometimes people feel that whatever they're doing is whatever they're going to do forever. And this all comes down to how we've been brought up and how we see things, because in reality, we can do anything we want. And it's all about allowing the money to flow. So it comes in and it goes out, it comes in and it goes out. And we search for opportunities and we feel good about ourselves, we feel good about money. And when we relax with it, that's when the opportunities come, and that's when we get to take these opportunities. It's all about thinking out the box, and it's all about allowing the abundance to flow. Sometimes things can happen that cause us to perhaps have a fright. I had one myself years ago, a long time ago in Gran Canaria, one of the Spanish islands. I bought a restaurant with two friends, and I was very fortunate because after a few months, when I realized it was completely failing and it was really bad, and I was worried about losing my investment, my two business partners, they had other ideas. They were a little bit, what's the word? Perhaps devious. They had other ideas of selling my third to somebody else who was going to pay a lot more. Well, I didn't know this, but the beautiful part of my situation was that meant I got all of the money back that I put into the business, all of it, and a little bit more, surprisingly enough. Now, it seemed a bit too good to be true, but it was, and I did get my money back, and it taught me a huge lesson. And I left that company, and off I went. But it did put a fear inside me. And thinking back, it stopped me from doing a few things. I was offered an excursion company for a really cheap price from someone that was very successful and had to leave the island for grandchildren back in Ireland, I seem to remember. There was another opportunity in a bar, and all these things were perfect businesses that you could buy, have other people run for you, and then just carry on with your life, and they'd be ticking away in the background. But because of my experience in the restaurant, it stopped me from doing those things. And in hindsight, they would have been great little businesses to have. But because of what happened, I got worried and I felt like I can't do that again. And this is a limiting belief that I picked up, whereas in reality, I should have realized, okay, that's just one experience. I can move on. This will be another experience. I'll make it what it is. I learn from those mistakes. But instead, I put all the blockers on. Now, the good news is, after a few years, I decided to become a hypnotherapist, and this is a much better idea than all of those ideas. But at the time, it would have been great to have done those things. And this is the point I'm trying to get across is don't be scared. There's no one that's going to have a business and that business is going to do amazing. You have to have a few businesses to find out. People often say it could be your fifth business that is the absolute cracking one, and the first four were just steps to get there. And this is the way with anything in life. This is the way with making friends. This is the way with getting partners for life, girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands, wives. You don't expect the first person you meet to be the one, although that would be wonderful. So this is really important to remember in business and making money. You're going to make some mistakes, but those mistakes will give you the experience to be able to then make the one. And this is what it's all about, learning. So to reflect on what I've said, it's a great idea to think about how you see money. Write it down. How do you actually see money? How do you feel about money from your experiences, from what you've learned from parents and grandparents and people around you? And then work out what you believe. Is that actually helping you? Is it serving you? And if it isn't, get rid of them and switch them around and make them more positive. Go from negative to positive. You know, money is a good thing. The most important thing to remember about money is it's everywhere. It's everywhere. People think there's not that money to be made. There is literally billions and billions being spent every single day. There's money floating around the world everywhere, on your street where you live, everywhere. And this is really important. The most important thing is to realize that we're all capable of anything, but it's more important to realize that we're worthy, because often you see people with nice things and whatever they're doing, and we think, oh, that'd be great if I could do that. You can do that. This is the most important thing. When you realize that you're worthy, then you can get anything you want. When you can visualize yourself and picture yourself with something or doing something, you can genuinely make it so. You have to give the vibrations out to the universe of what you want, and it comes back. You know, be good, be positive about everything, and believe and expect that you can get anything you want when it comes to anything you want, particularly money, particularly to change your finances. And when you have that dream, write it down and turn it into a goal. Make it into a plan by putting it into steps and just execute each step and track it, all right? So you've got it all on paper. And when you've got that list and that plan and those steps, let's say there's 10 steps to get to where you need to be, just do one at a time. Make it simple. Otherwise, you try and do too much in one go and it's no good. Just small steps, and give yourself a pat on the back and reward yourself with every single step. And when you get there, it's complete, and then continue and go from there and see what happens. So there we go. It's all about feeling that you're worthy, knowing that you're worthy, seeing where you want to be, picturing it, visualizing it, and making so. And all of these limiting beliefs that we've got, all of these phrases that we've heard, all of these things that hinder us, forget about them. It's time to start thinking differently, because there's no difference between you and the person around the corner that's driving a Ferrari and has got loads of money. You can get these things. It's all about changing your thought patterns and believing and expecting that you can make it so. So I do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please share it, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thank you.